Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. So earlier we talked about some of the first reviews that came out for the most anticipated game in 2020, Cyberpunk 2077. A lot of these reviews gave 5 out of 5s, 9 out of 10s, and I was actually quite amazed with how high these reviews were. They quite didn't sit with me because of one common denominator in each and every single one of them. They all, for the most part, said the same thing. If you can get past the bugs and glitches, it's a fun experience. And I was just like, it just does not make sense to me to be like, oh, the game has a bunch of bugs, but it's still going to be a 9 out of 10 or a 5 out of 5. It just kind of didn't sit right with me. Not trying to speculate or conspire too much against that, but just something doesn't seem right about that with the reviews. It is confirmed that there will be a big day one patch to fix a lot of stuff on Cyberpunk 2077. It's also been confirmed that the reviews that are out right now are PC only. We still have not seen anything involving console reviews for this game, which that also kind of worries me just a teensy tiny bit. That makes me think the console version is going to be very buggy. But speaking of bugs, we're going to read this from Game Rant that talks about these game-breaking bugs and glitches that Cyberpunk 2077 supposedly has that we didn't get to really read in detail because the article that I read last time was just brief summaries of each publication's review of Cyberpunk 2077. So if this is your first time coming to the channel, why don't you click the red subscription button down here, guys. We're inching close to 80,000 subscribers. I'd like to hit that number before the end of the year. Please help me. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue. This says Cyberpunk 2077 reportedly has game-breaking bugs as various outlets publish their Cyberpunk 2077 reviews. It becomes clear that the open-world game has some game-breaking bugs. Now, let me preface this. A lot of open-world games, Fallout, Skyrim, you name it, have had bugs. Some of them are some of the greatest games of all time. I mean, to this day, Skyrim still has bugs. So it says Cyberpunk is out later this week, but various outlets have already published their reviews online. Cyberpunk 2077 reviews have been largely positive, with many heaping praise on the open-world RPG and helping it secure an impressive 91 average score on review aggregate site OpenCritic. So on review aggregate site OpenCritic, it has a 91 average score, which is big. I think Metacritic is also around that score as well. It says, but while Cyberpunk 2077 has earned mostly positive reviews, critics have noticed some issues with the game, namely as it pertains to its bugs. So there's supposedly a lot of bugs. So much bugs, we better call an exterminator. Now, it's normal for open world games to have bugs, though unfortunately some of Cyberpunk 2077's bugs are apparently game-breaking in nature. And this is a cause for concern here. I'm not trying to fearmonger against the game, but with a game being this hyped, if you get some game-breaking issues, it is a disappointment. Call of Duty Cold War comes to mind. So reviewers have reported a variety of technical issues that plague Cyberpunk 2077, including visual defects and crashing problems. Generally speaking, the majority of the criticism aimed at Cyberpunk 2077 seems to be due to its bugs, so otherwise it should be a top-tier gaming experience. So that's what all the reviews said, that if you can get past the bugs and the glitches, it's a fun, once-in-a-lifetime experience, which I'm looking forward to that. That hypes me up. But avoiding all these bugs in the major review publications and still ranking it high is a cause of concern for me. It says, one has to wonder if Cyberpunk's bugs are the reason why CD Projekt Red kept delaying the game, and if it would have been able to iron those out had it issued another delay. CD Projekt Red suffered some pretty significant backlash after its most recent Cyberpunk delay, though, so it's not all surprising that it didn't push the highly anticipated game back yet again. So, yeah, I was expecting we would get another delay, but we're not. We're in the final countdown. We're days away. It's quite likely that Cyberpunk 2077's bugs and technical issues will be fixed over time. Cyberpunk has a huge day one patch in store, which may very well address some of these problems, and CD Projekt Red has plans to support it for some time to come. Besides bug fixes, this includes some major Cyberpunk 2077 expansions, plus a full-fledged multiplayer mode, so it's a game that will likely get better with time. And you got to expect games when they first come out are going to have their issues. They're going to need their patches. That's how modern gaming is now. That's how it is. I mean, think of the games right now on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X that are having all these issues. Assassin's Creed, Cold War, Spider-Man, Godfall, you name it. A lot of these have had rumors and speculation of game crashing, even bricking consoles. So Cyberpunk is no exception to the rule. So this is not a personal attack on Cyberpunk. This is just reading reported bugs that were mentioned in every single review. Every single review that I covered in the last video mentioned bugs. So let's see what happens with this. Continuing, it says, something that's a bit concerning, though, is that all of Cyberpunk's reviews have been published so far have focused exclusively on the PC version of the game. And that's where I have concern at. What about the consoles? Nobody is allowed to review the console version early yet because of whatever reason CD Projekt Red is telling people to not do it. It says, console versions have not been made available to critics, which has led to some worry that those on PS4 and Xbox One may be getting an inferior experience. However, it's hard to make that call until the game is actually in the hands of console players, so we'll find out for sure this coming Thursday, December 10th. Meanwhile, the Cyberpunk next-gen version also have to be taken into account. It's coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X at some point in 2021, with console owners able to upgrade to the new version for free. Hopefully these Cyberpunk 2077 bugs and technical issues are fixed by then, but fans will just have to wait and see how the next few months go. So again, we're just a couple of days away, guys. It's Tuesday when I'm recording this. Depending on when this video comes out is how long we have of a wait. Again, it is a cause of concern, mostly because the bugs that are being reported are on the PC. So everybody's reviewing PC games, and they're saying it's a buggy mess, but to get past that, otherwise, presents a great game. So technically, PC versions are usually more superior than console versions. So if the PC version is having issues and bugs, that leads me to believe that the console versions are going to be just as buggy, if not worse. And that's a cause for concern, especially with how much hype Cyberpunk 2077 has right now. Hopefully it works. Hopefully the day one patch makes all this not even worth worrying about. But I find it very curious. Again, that website I read the other day or earlier when it had all those reviews, people were rating it 5 out of 5 and 9s out of 10s. There was one publication that gave it a 7 out of 10, and each and every single one of them mentioned these bugs, but they still ranked it high, which that is weird in my book. Let me know your thoughts, guys, on this in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.